The recent and astonishing discovery of the ruins of a monumental Egyptian temple submerged in the Mediterranean has once again ignited the imagination about the incalculable secrets held by the seabed and the way in which civilizations collapse and are preserved by time. Although the original headline, with a slight geographical inaccuracy, referred to the Red Sea, the reality places this discovery of epic proportions in the calm waters of Abu Qir Bay, a few kilometers from the vibrant metropolis of Alexandria, in the Mediterranean Sea. This place is none other than the legendary city of Thonis-Heracleion, an enclave that was, for centuries, the most crucial port of Egypt, and that one day, more than 1,000 years ago, was wiped off the face of the earth by a series of devastating natural disasters. Today, this ancient metropolis has begun to emerge from the depths, revealing its past with unparalleled archaeological splendor. Leave a like, subscribe, and share. Let's begin. The key to this revelation has been the integration of cutting-edge technology in underwater exploration, the underwater drones and the ROVs, remotely operated vehicles. These tools have been essential not only for mapping the vast site with millimeter precision, but also for recording and offering an unprecedented and detailed visual perspective of an archaeological landscape that has remained unaltered underwater for 12 centuries. The use of these robotic devices has marked a turning point in the ability of modern archaeology to interact with submerged sites on a large scale. Thonis-Heracleion, a dual name that reflects its immense cultural and political importance, was known to the Egyptians as Thonis and to the Greeks as Heracleion. More than just a port, it was, for centuries, the main maritime gateway to the vast empire of the pharaohs and a nerve center of trade, religion, and cultural exchange. Its strategic position was unbeatable and made it the main emporium and a melting pot of civilizations until Alexander the Great founded Alexandria in 331 BC. Historical chronicles, both Egyptian and Greco-Roman, describe it as a city of immeasurable wealth and magnificence, adorned with imposing temples, docks that never ceased operating, and a fervent religious life, attracting merchants and pilgrims from all over the known world. Its decline was abrupt and catastrophic, an event or series of events which experts attribute to a lethal combination of massive earthquakes, devastating tsunamis, and a soil liquefaction phenomenon where water-saturated sediment loses its firmness, acting as mud, completely submerged it in the 8th century AD, burying it beneath the waters of Abu Qir Bay. The sinking was so rapid that the city was preserved almost like a time capsule. The whereabouts of this legendary city became a myth for centuries until the year 2000. It was then that a methodical and pioneering archaeological expedition, an Egyptian-French collaboration, led by the world-renowned figure of the underwater archaeologist Franck Godiot and his European Institute of Underwater Archaeology, managed to locate the vast deposit. The discovery exceeded all expectations. It wasn't just a city, but an immaculate archaeological treasure miraculously preserved under a protective layer of sand and mud on the seabed, which prevented decomposition and looting. At the epicenter of the submerged ruins of Thonis-Heracleion lies what was once the main temple dedicated to the Egyptian god Amun. The magnitude of this discovery has incalculable historical and religious resonance. Amun, whose name means the Hidden One, and who was revered as the king of the gods and the patron deity of the New Kingdom, represented a cardinal deity in the Egyptian pantheon. The presence of a temple of this magnitude in such a cosmopolitan port, where Greek influences were omnipresent, underlines the unshakable influence and preeminence of traditional Egyptian religion, even in a context of intense and growing cultural interaction. In the documentation process, the underwater drones have proven to be not only indispensable tools but revolutionary ones. Equipped with sophisticated ultra-high-resolution cameras, specialized lighting, and advanced side-scan sonar systems, these robotic machines have been able to navigate the dark and often murky depths of the bay with limited visibility. The images and data captured have provided a comprehensive photographic and video record of the architectural remains, showing enormous limestone blocks, majestic toppled columns, foundations, and walls partially covered by sediment, which once comprised the Holy of Holies of the port. Continuous and systematic drone filming using photogrammetry has allowed archaeologists to carry out a three-dimensional virtual reconstruction of the original structure of the temple. Thanks to this, they have been able to clearly identify the nave, the most sacred inner sanctuary where the cult statue resided, the imposing entrance pylons, the adjacent chapels, and the ceremonial dock area. These videos are not mere scientific data. They are moving visual documents that allow the public to grasp the magnitude of the catastrophe that buried the city, and at the same time admire the majesty of its lost architecture. The precise way in which the ruins lie, scattered but with a discernible pattern, as if the earth had opened up, has provided vital clues about the exact mechanism of the subsidence, reinforcing the theory of a rapid and massive soil subsidence due to liquefaction. Leave a like, subscribe, and share. Alongside the stunning revelation of the Temple of Amun, Gaudio's expedition has unearthed an equally important find in terms of cultural history and religious syncretism. A small but significant sanctuary dedicated to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. This discovery serves as a powerful metaphor of syncretic and bicultural nature of Thonis-Heracleion. The city was not a culturally pure enclave, but a vibrant melting pot where the beliefs, traditions, and religious practices of Egypt and Greece merged and coexisted harmoniously. The sanctuary of Aphrodite, the goddess of love, beauty, and crucially, of navigation, protector of sailors and with a strong cult in the eastern Mediterranean, was strategically located, probably in an area easily accessible to the many Greek sailors and merchants who stopped at the port. Their presence in the city, in close proximity to the great Temple of Amun, is an eloquent example of how the Greek and Egyptian populations not only physically coexisted, but also adapted, shared, and complemented their religious practices in a common environment of intense commercial exchange. The treasures recovered from both sites are the most eloquent testimony to this remarkable cultural fusion. The expedition has brought to light colossal statues of pharaohs and goddesses, including an imposing statue of Hapi, the god of the Nile flood, exquisite gold and gem jewelry, large quantities of minted coins, both hieroglyphic and Greek inscriptions, and hundreds of everyday artifacts. The tablets with inscriptions, in particular the stele of Nectanebo I, have been invaluable, providing the definitive epigraphic evidence that has allowed experts to confirm that Thonis and Heracleion were in fact the same and only city. Among the most fascinating artifacts, the recovery of the remains of Egyptian ceremonial and commercial ships, many of them still carrying their cargo, have offered a detailed and unprecedented view of naval technology and sea routes during the Ptolemaic era. The concise phrase "drone records ruins" summarizes the technological revolution that has completely transformed the methodology of modern underwater archaeology. Traditional methods relied exclusively on the ability, safety, and limited dive time of human divers, and were restricted by poor visibility and severe underwater conditions. Today, the modern remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and underwater drones have rewritten the field's manual. 3D mapping and precision photogrammetry. The drones are programmed to capture thousands of geo-referenced ultra-high-resolution photographs following a systematic sweep pattern. These images are then processed by software photogrammetry to generate incredibly accurate and textured 3D models of the site. This allows archaeologists to study the ruins on the surface in great detail, make exact measurements of structures, and plan future excavations with a geometric and strategic precision that was previously simply unattainable. Safe, thorough, and long-lasting inspection. These machines, often connected to a surface vessel by an umbilical, can operate continuously at extreme depths, beyond the reach of recreational diving, and for periods of time that are unattainable or pose an intolerable risk to human divers. This translates into a fast, systematic, and efficient exploration of large areas of the seabed with minimal fatigue. Mass public dissemination and visualization. Live video recordings and high-quality still images produced by drones are extraordinarily powerful science outreach tools, capable of bringing the wonders of Thonis-Heracleion, such as the Temple of Amun, directly to the eyes of the global public and to academic conference halls, democratizing access to underwater heritage. Frank Gaudio and his team have capitalized on the use of these robotic tools not only for mapping, but also for overseeing the complex and delicate recovery operations of heavy and large artifacts, such as colossal statues of pharaohs and goddesses, ensuring that they are extracted from the seabed with the utmost care for their subsequent conservation, restoration, and public display. The challenge that archaeology now faces is not limited to the excavation phase, but focuses primarily on the preservation and management long-term development of the archaeological site. Although the layer of sediment from the Mediterranean Sea has acted as an excellent natural preservative, sealing the artifacts from oxygen, destructive sunlight, and pollution, the site also poses significant environmental threats, including constant erosion from currents, seismic instability inherent to the region, and the impact of human activities such as bottom trawling. The absolute priority for archaeologists is to continue thoroughly documenting and studying the Thonis-Heracleion site before the inevitable future environmental changes. In particular, the predicted rise in sea level and the intensification of coastal storms could irreversibly affect the ruins. The discovery of the Temple of Amun and the Sanctuary of Aphrodite, documented and analyzed thanks to cutting-edge drone and ROV technology, is much more than a find. It is an exciting and central chapter in the history of archaeology, geology, and ancient history. These submerged ruins offer a tangible chronicle, frozen in time by the waves and the sand, of life at the crossroads of two of the greatest civilizations of antiquity. The next and exciting phase of the investigation is already planned, and will focus on the detailed exploration of the residential and commercial areas of the city, which until now have received less attention than the great temples and ports. The goal is to gain a deeper, more everyday understanding of the lives of its inhabitants, of ordinary people, beyond the temples and ceremonial ports. Drones, operating like the robotic eyes, the tireless work of archaeologists will continue to explore the most remote corners of this ancient metropolis, ensuring that the stories of the god Amun, the goddess Aphrodite, and the ancient and prosperous port of Thonis-Heracleion will never again be lost in the darkness of the deep sea. Leave a like, subscribe, and share. Until next time.